What's up, everybody? Welcome back to What the Football, your favorite football podcast. It's your favorite football podcast.
Definitely.
It's mine, but we might be biased because we're in it. Anyway, welcome back, guys. Glad you're with us. Lots to talk about in the world of football, as usual, on and off the field. But hey, guess who's back? Back again. Back on top for a little while, anyways. Shout out to all the Liverpool folks who thought they were gonna be here a while. Anyway, let's see how it goes. Anyway, let's get into it. This is What the Football. All right, Judah.
Yes, boss.
Let's start with the Champions League.
Oh, the champions.
The Champions League group stage is wrapped up.
Yes, it is.
We will be entering into the round of 16 in the new year.
Yes, we will be.
I guess some of the, not many surprises, I guess, other than kind of like maybe the sort of disappointment or heartbreak for Manchester United fans and Newcastle United fans, specifically speaking in the Premier League, because Manchester United came back into the Champions League after a few seasons.
Mm-hmm.
Newcastle United came back into the Champions League after I don't know how many seasons.
Like 20?
Yeah.
Yeah, bro.
So
Could be wrong, but about 20, yeah.
Yeah, and both of them were bottom of their groups.
Yeah, I think it's a bigger disappointment for United.
Okay.
Because when you looked at United's group, Bayern, United, Galatasaray, Copenhagen, I don't think you would have expected at the start of the season, like before the season started, that United will finish bottom of that group. Now, you might have put Bayern ahead of them, but I think you would have gone United will finish second or third. And if they will be third, maybe Galatasaray will be second. But Copenhagen, awesome stuff to finish second in that group. Ahead of Galatasaray also. So I think the bigger disappointment should be for United fans. Well, they're both United, Newcastle and Manchester.
I know, yeah.
So I'll say Manchester. For the Newcastle fans, they had a tougher group. They had PSG, they had Dortmund, they had AC Milan.
Wait a minute, sorry. You can't just say Manchester either now, because then there's City and United.
Well, in this context, you're talking about two United.
I'm just saying. You can't just say Manchester.
I get that. Okay, Manchester United or Man United, whatever. Yeah, I'd say something. Yeah.
Anyway, sorry.
So for Newcastle, I think they had a tougher group. Nearly everybody would agree that was the toughest group.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so Newcastle finishing bottom is still disappointing. Definitely, you don't want to finish bottom of the group. If you don't finish in the first two spots, at least you want to go third so you can continue your European journey.
Sure, yeah.
You never know, you might win the Europa and get automatic qualification for next season's Champions League.
Yeah.
Which is also going to be a different format. So come next year, the UCL as we know it will no longer be the UCL as we know it.
Yeah, so what does that mean?
They're increasing the number of teams. They are changing the format in the sense that it will not be regular group games as we know it. The number of matches are also going to increase. I think the average UCL season has 125 matches, I guess. If you count all the group stage games and all the knockout games.
Yeah.
From next season, it might be 200 and something games. So close to an extra 100 games have been added.
Wow.
Yeah, so there's no time to explain the whole format and all, but it's going to be huge. So this is the last season of the UCL as we know it. So come next season, it will be a whole new thing. It will be fighting a whole new beast.
So it's just during the week, there's just more matches?
So the fixtures are not out, but because there are more teams involved, I think there's a way they're going to do the whole coefficient thing and this team playing against this team. And it's going to be more like a league.
Wow.
So instead of having teams in groups of 4 playing and the first 2 qualifying, I think the first 6 or 7 will qualify directly, and 8 to like 17 to go to playoffs. So that's why it's going to take a little time for me to explain all of that.
Wow.
But it's going to be more like a league tournament than a cup competition.
Wow.
Yeah, but come next season, I think let's just wait till that.
Okay.
UEFA might still release some extra info about that. But I think for United, it's Manchester United.
Yes.
It is poor. You just don't want to finish at the bottom of that group.
Sure.
But so last season they did qualify for the Champions League because I remember Ronaldo scoring against I think Atalanta or something.
Oh, wow.
So they played in the Champions League last season.
Yeah.
So this is their second consecutive season in the Champions League.
Okay.
If I'm not mistaken.
Oh, my bad.
I played in the Champions League last season.
Yeah, I thought they weren't there. Oh, okay. Cool.
Yeah, they were. But they're out. As I said in the last episode, they should pack their bags. I guess they have now.
Yep.
Sorry to Newcastle.
If they hadn't already.
If they hadn't already. Well, I hope they listened to me. I hope they did listen to me.
Save them the time.
Yeah, but in the Newcastle group though, I think on the final match day, so Dortmund had already qualified, but they hadn't secured top spots.
Sure.
So if they had lost to PSG at home, PSG could have gone above them.
Then.
Yeah. But the funny thing is, on that day, while the games were going on, at some point, so at the start of the games, PSG was second. Then Newcastle scores in England.
Yep.
And Newcastle were not the team that would qualify. And they were winning Milan.
Yep.
Then PSG score.
Yeah.
And then Newcastle go back down and PSG climb back up. And then Milan score 2 goals to win there and Newcastle go back to the bottom. So it was,
oh my gosh.
It was just a funny thing.
Heartbreak.
Yeah. At some point you were qualifying.
Yeah.
From second you move back to third. From third you move down to fourth. And it was just sad. They could point to the penalty kick that was given against them in Paris as one of the things, but it is what it is.
Maybe this might be a blessing in disguise for Newcastle United because with all their injuries going on and, the Tonali band and all that sort of stuff, maybe they need a breather for a little bit just to get their stuff in order.
To be honest, for me, I don't think so.
Really?
You know why? Well, this is why I don't think so. Okay. I don't think so because this is the end of the group stages.
Yes.
So you don't play any UCL games over Christmas. You most likely not play, not you most likely, you won't play any UCL games in January.
Sure, yeah.
So the UCL games so the draws happen on Monday. The fixtures, I think, resume second week of Feb, if I'm not mistaken. Okay. First week of Feb.
Okay.
So that is enough of a breather. So even the teams that have qualified, like Arsenal and City,
sure,
are still going to play the same games that they would have played even if they were not there because the tournament is on a pause.
Yeah, well, it's on a pause for now, but then it'll be back in
it will be back.
Feb, right? I don't know how many players they have out or what long-term injuries they have.
I think the longest is Tonali.
Oh, really?
That's the longest.
Never mind then.
That's the longest.
Well, I guess in that case, it just sucks
that's
for
the
them.
longest, yeah. Now, even if you have players who are out for longer, players who will be away, like there's the Asian Cup and the AFCON going on at that time.
Yep.
It's the January transfer window. You could buy players. You could do 6 months loan.
True.
And all that kind of stuff. So I think they would have preferred to stay in Europe.
Anybody would prefer to stay.
That's the thing.
But I just feel like they've just been they qualified for Champions League, they're flying high.
Yeah.
And then it feels like they just got hit really badly with all sorts of stuff.
Yeah,
so I feel like they need sort of a breather just to, play a few games. I mean, they got to win this weekend. But anyway, I just don't know.
Yeah.
I just felt like they've been tired a lot recently.
They have been tired because I feel like you are correct. They've had a lot of injuries. And I think Eddie Howe has had to pick from the same pool of players for 4 weeks.
Yeah.
By pool of players, I don't even mean they're up to 20. Maybe they're 14 of them.
Sure, yeah.
So I think there was this time where in, I think, 10, 11 days, they played 3 games. And he picked the same starting 11 for all 3 games. And the guys are tired. You see that by the time the game gets into the second half, you can see that they're running out of steam.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And all of that. So that does make sense. But the other thing is, I don't think that they have any assurance that they will be in the UCL next season.
Okay. Yeah.
So they would have loved to play a little more in Europe.
Stay in the
Because right now you can see Liverpool, Arsenal, Villa.
Mm-hmm.
These are the guys, and City and the top 4 right now. Spurs is somewhere there in the conversation. United is somewhere there in the conversation. Newcastle is somewhere there in the conversation. But can you say for certain now that Newcastle will play in the UCL next season?
No, at the moment, no.
That's the
Don't know. But that's the crazy thing about the Premier League this season. Like, there's a lot of teams moving up and down, you know, and I don't know what could happen between now and Christmas. Or
that is true. Like 3 weeks ago or 4 weeks ago, first v second was Liverpool versus City.
Yeah, true.
If first v second are going, actually they will play next week. That's Liverpool versus another team.
Yeah.
So I think that it's a good thing though. You win, you move, you go, you lose, you drop, and all that kind of stuff.
You didn't say the other team though.
Arsenal.
There we go.
Arsenal.
Thank you.
Yes, Arsenal. Moving on.
Before we move on from Champions League though, tell us about the round of 16. How does that work?
So I think the idea is just the teams that top their group would face the teams that are second in the group. So teams like Arsenal and I think Barcelona top their group. Arsenal and Barcelona cannot meet.
Yep.
So you and Dennis are okay. So PSG and I think Porto finished second in the Barca group. PSG and Porto cannot meet because they are both second.
Sure, yeah.
So there will be two pots of teams.
Yep.
Those I'll just say table toppers and runners up.
Yep.
So Arsenal, you guys topped your group. Your options are PSG.
Yep.
That are second. Porto, that finished second. Copenhagen also finished second.
Yep.
What other teams can I think of? Napoli.
Yeah.
Also finished second. So that's the way it works. And that's why you see teams are trying to finish first.
Sure, yeah.
So that they avoid some of the big hitters.
Sure, yeah.
So that's how it works.
Is there any team other than that, is there any team that you can't play?
I think in the round of 16 also, I don't think you can play a team from the same country as yours.
So Arsenal can't play City?
I don't think you can play now. I think the earliest you can do that is the quarterfinals.
Yeah. So they couldn't play City either way because I think City topped their group as well.
Yeah. So you guys were both table toppers. So
I think I saw that somewhere. That's why I asked to confirm if that was. So that's the two major things that you can't play, you know, a team that topped their group if you top your group.
Yeah.
And you can't play a team from your own country.
I think so. I think at the round of 16 stage you can't. Later on you can because by then there are not too many options anymore. Yeah, but right now I don't think you can.
Yeah.
But funny enough, there's only one other team from England.
Yeah, City.
Which hasn't happened in a while because most of the time English clubs actually do qualify from their groups.
Yeah.
So this is actually sad. I don't know if sad is the word, but I hope it doesn't affect the coefficient for the England when it comes to European tournaments. But I think the good thing though is English clubs and the Europa League all qualify. So Liverpool, I think even Liverpool top the group. Who else is in the Europa League? Brighton also qualified. I think that they won their last game against Marseille 1-0.
West Ham.
West Ham, I think, also in the Europa League, yes, because they won the Conference League.
Yeah.
Then Aston Villa is also in the Conference League. So I think all of those guys qualified. But in the UCL, we have 2 or 4 left.
I think we need to also look at the Europa League as well. We've completely neglected it, I feel like.
Yeah, I think the thing is when these tournaments get into knockout stages,
they get more interesting.
They get more, yeah. So like
that's true.
Liverpool lost, I think, away at Toulouse, and you could see the Toulouse guys stay back after to sing and chant. So it is what it is.
Yeah,
it's still a great European night.
Yeah.
It's just on Thursday.
Yeah,
but it's still a great European night.
Yeah. So okay, we gotta make a note. We gotta make sure that we touch on the Europa League
next year
and the Conference League.
Come next year. There's so much to talk about. There's the Asian Cup, then the AFCON.
Oh yes,
all those tournaments. Then you have the UCL returning in Feb, and with that Europa League, Conference League. So there's a lot of football to talk about.
Are you, being from that region, are you always excited about AFCON? Because like I feel like the majority of the world doesn't know much about it.
I think because it's played while the European club season is on, it doesn't always get as much attention. Let me use that word. But I still think it's a great tournament. Players still want to win something for their national teams. You don't change. That can't change.
That's a huge honor.
It is.
Every
It
time,
is.
Yeah.
It's great to play for your club.
Yeah.
If you play for a great club, it's actually bigger stuff. But when you put on your national team shirt, it's also an honor. To represent your country and stuff. So I still think it's a great tournament. It's a big tournament.
Did you always watch it? Like I don't know when.
When I had the opportunities, yes, I always do. So for tournaments like that, I try to watch as much as I can, but I try to watch my own country's games the most. That's the regular stuff. So you could miss because you can't watch all the games. But what you can try to do is look out for when your own team plays, and okay, I'll try to follow these ones. But it's a great tournament. I think Egypt are the record holders, but Senegal are the defending champions.
That's right.
So I think it's going to be a great tournament. Hoping to see Sadio Mane and Edo Mendy and the Senegalese boys come again. But there are also big teams. Morocco had a great time at the World Cup in Qatar.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
So they're coming for that. Looking out for Nigeria also, looking out for all these guys. So let's see if Onana would go or he could stay back in United to try to get his career in shape. So there's so many talking points also about that.
True, yeah.
But it's going to be a great tournament. The good thing though is, I don't know if it's a good thing, is while that is going on, the Asian Cup is also going on just here in the GCC. Qatar is hosting. Yeah, so you'd have Asian players away and African players away. So Son will be away with South Korea. And Bissouma should be away also. Then you look at like Chelsea, Nicholas Jackson should be away. Adingra should be away for Brighton and stuff. So I think those are the things that would then determine. So should Big Ange sign new players in January and all of that?
Do they need anybody on loan?
All that kind of stuff. All those discussions need to happen. But it's a great time. Looking forward to it. So I think January will be awesome. It'll be awesome.
Well, Bissouma's out, I think, for a bit.
4 games, for his record.
4 games, so let's see what happens.
Or maybe he should just go straight to camp. He should just go straight to his AFCON camp.
He's probably like, hey, you know what? AFCON's going to come up. I might as well just...
I think they're like, next weekend there are games, then there's the games just before Christmas, then the games after Christmas, then New Year's.
So technically, he would be back in the new year, but...
Yeah, but by then, I think, as if he's actually going to play. I didn't even think about that. Bissouma is Guinea? Mali? Can't even remember.
I don't remember, honestly.
Yeah, my brain is failing me now.
Anyway.
That's all right.
Anyway, talked about the Champions League. Let's move into the Premier League now. Let's recap some of the main things that happened. I think first things we want to talk about is probably the biggest news, Bournemouth versus Luton Town, and the Luton Town's captain.
Oh yeah, Tom Lockyer.
Tom Lockyer collapsing.
Yes,
on the pitch in the 65th-ish minute, I think.
Yeah, I think between 60 64.
Did you watch the game?
I wasn't seeing all of it.
Okay.
So I had multiple screens.
As you do.
Yeah, I had multiple screens.
As you do.
But I could see some updates on the game and all. It's moments like you just remind you that as I keep saying at times, that is bigger than football.
Of course.
Remember Christian Eriksen?
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. Yeah,
Christian Eriksen, while representing Denmark, I think that was at the World Cup.
Yeah, was it World Cup or Euros?
It's World Cup or Euros?
I don't remember. It was an international thing. It was international. Yeah,
it was Euros. I could be wrong, but I remember it was Christian Eriksen.
Yeah.
So I remember that and how felt like the world stopped.
Yeah.
First off, things like that, we hope that they don't repeat themselves.
Sure. Yeah.
Because it's not encouraging. It's not encouraging. You have things like that happen, even when a fan slumps in the stands. It's not.
Yeah.
Because a lot of emotion just comes out, and you just remember that we're humans. I think the report was he had a cardiac arrest and slumped. And I think the good thing is he's been responding to treatment. He has his family by his side. And the game was abandoned. It will be played again later. But all the game being played again later is of little to no concern.
True, yeah.
You have somebody who had a cardiac arrest, you want to be sure that he's alive.
Yep.
And he's healthy and he's responding and he can, or his family can see him and all that stuff. All those things are much more important than playing the game.
Yeah, absolutely.
Much more important.
Yep.
So I love to Lockyer. I think the good thing is also, I think the medical staff, I think they did a great job of both Luton and Bournemouth, because the game was away at Bournemouth.
At Bournemouth, yep.
Yeah, so I think all of that, then he was rushed to the hospital in an ambulance and all. So we're just really grateful.
Yeah.
Because it could have been something else.
Yeah.
Could have been Baba Grave.
But this has happened before with Tom Lockyer in the playoffs.
Yeah, so I had. I didn't watch that one.
Yeah. So I hope that he's able to get just some rest and
I hope so.
Checkups done and, whatever the situation is. Because with Christian Eriksen, they were really, really, at least as far as I know, they were really careful to make sure that he's able to go back in and play and everything. Thankfully, he hasn't had an incident like that happen again. But for Tom Lockyer, this is the second incident. And so it makes me wonder, should they make him or force him to pause a little bit and just do tests, stuff like that? I don't know.
Well, I think we're not medical professionals.
Sure.
The good thing is they have professionals. And I think after this, even without advice from professionals, I think his family would actually sit him down and go.
True.
No, there's sometimes you acquire professional advice.
The stage before the professional advice.
Sometimes your wife and your children just need to look you in the eye and go,
yeah.
You don't want to go through this again.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
If this is the second time, I think that sometimes you need an architect, an engineer to come and go, oh, this building doesn't look like it's going to stand. Sometimes you just look at it and you go, oh man, you can see the crack in the walls and all.
The leaning tower.
Exactly. So I think he might just look into his wife's eyes and know, yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
That's it. Except the doctor comes and goes, oh, nothing is wrong. That was just normal thing. You can go back to playing. But even with that, I don't know.
Yeah, true.
It's a decision that he and his family have to make.
Yeah.
The fact that it's happened before, his comeback like Christian Eriksen shows he does have passion for the game. He loves the game. He's the captain of his side. He wants to lead his team.
Yeah.
But the thing I noticed was, so after the game was suspended and the players had gone into the locker rooms, the fans actually stayed back. Because at some point, I think they weren't sure if the game was going to restart.
Oh, yeah.
So the fans had stayed back. And then the Luton coach, what's his name again? Rob Edwards? Or something?
So.
Yeah. Came back out and did like a lap of arms, clapping all through. And you could see like his eyes were teary. So I feel like they have looked at Lockyer and gone, that's close, bro.
Yeah.
That's really close. So for his coach to come out applauding the fans for staying and their support and all of that, and you could see in his eyes, either he had just finished crying, he was about to cry, he was just holding back tears. And when you look at that, you go, yeah, that was serious.
Yeah.
That was very serious. We're grateful that he made it out and he's responding and stuff, but the decision to continue to play or not to play, I think lies with him and his family.
True. Yeah.
But also whatever the medical guys say would definitely affect that.
Yeah.
But even if they don't say anything, I think he and his family have to sit and go, should we do this again?
Yeah.
Can we do this again?
Yeah.
Because if it happened in the playoffs, that's less than a year ago.
Yeah.
So this is the second time in, So when your body begins to give you those kind of signals, I think you should listen.
Yeah.
It's like, was the guy who used to play for Brighton? Enoch Mwepu. So I don't think he collapsed, but he also had some issues health-wise, and he had to retire from football.
I remember that, yeah.
So Enoch Mwepu had to retire pretty early.
That was a few years ago.
It's not up to 3 years. Like a year ago or so.
Really?
Yeah, Enoch was playing last year. He scored against, I think, Arsenal in one of the games, I remember. That's one of the things I could remember.
Wow.
Enoch was a great guy. Enoch Mwepu,
Yeah.
Brighton midfielder. He had to retire pretty early, also because of a health issue.
Wow, that was yeah.
Yeah, I think it's not up to a year, about a year ago now. So I think he had his own issues. Professionals gave him their advice.
Yeah.
He sat with his family and they decided, hey, we'd rather have you alive than have you die. So he hanged his boots.
Well, let's see what Tom Lockyer and his family decide and any other counsel that he has around him. But
yeah,
the last report we know is that he's stable.
Yeah.
Thank God.
Yeah.
And hopefully that stays that way.
Yeah, we hope so. We hope there are wise people around him and his family that are advising them and giving counsel.
It's up to Luton as well, to help him with that decision.
The thing is, if he hangs his boots, can they give him something on the off the pitch? Can he become maybe one of the assistants, or they sponsor him to go on maybe a coaching program or something?
Yeah.
If he still wants to be involved with the game.
Yeah.
I think the other thing though is when things like this happen, you just see that while club rivalry and stuff makes it seem like we're on the opposite side, we're actually just one big football family.
That's true. When
things like this happen, because I'm not a Luton fan, neither are you. But when we speak about things like this, like, hey, these are footballers. We watch these guys. We love these guys. We respect them.
Yeah.
So I think it just helps to show, hey, yeah, I know he supports United, I support City, so we're on the opposite sides of Manchester and all of that. But if it happens to any player, it happens to one of us. Yeah. It's just, he's one of us.
Yeah.
We are all one big football family.
Yeah.
We have our issues, but we're all one big football family.
We should never lose the humanity from football, and we'll talk about an incident in a little bit that shows that we did lose that a little bit, sadly. But anyway, thoughts and prayers with Tom Lockyer.
Yes.
Hoping and praying for the best for him health-wise. Yes. Let's move on a little bit. Big match of the weekend: Liverpool versus Manchester United.
Yes.
At Anfield.
Not an easy place to go.
That's right.
Yeah.
Not an easy place to go, but the points are shared.
Yes.
Good result for United or bad result for Liverpool?
I think a bit of both. Because before Liverpool played, they knew Arsenal had won.
Yep.
At home to Brighton.
Mm-hmm.
So Arsenal had gone above them. So they definitely wanted to win to go back up.
The pressure was on a little bit.
Yeah, it was. And I think you could see the longer the game went on, the more tense the place felt.
Oh, yeah.
Because I think many people expected Liverpool to just have a walk in the park because United had just lost to Brighton 3-0 and lost to Bayern 1-0. So they were coming into this game of back-to-back losses.
Mm-hmm.
Those two losses were at Old Trafford without United scoring anything. So we're like, oh, and they're coming to Anfield. So Liverpool should run them over, but that didn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
Liverpool did create a lot of chances,
right?
Attempts and all of that, and I think they had 11-0 corners or whatever. They had all that good stuff, but they did not put the ball in the back of the net.
Yep.
And if that doesn't happen, you don't win a game.
Oh, yes. For an Arsenal fan, you don't have to tell us that. We are living that right now.
If that does not happen, you don't win the game.
That's right.
But I think it's a bit of both. If United had lost, I don't think they would be beating themselves too much.
No.
But to go to Anfield and
take a point,
not just take a point, but stop Liverpool from scoring, I think that's great.
Yeah.
I think that is really good.
Especially when you have Onana in goal.
I didn't say that. I did not say that. I did not say that. Oh, bro, don't do that.
Anyway.
But I think it's good stuff. One of the things I was thinking about while the game was on, I was going, look at United's two centre-back pairings. Varane, Evans.
Johnny Evans, yeah.
And they played so well against Liverpool's attack.
Yeah.
And you can see Shaw and Dalot. I think they all had great games.
Mm-hmm.
And I ask myself, I'm like, are we sure all these reports about Ten Hag losing the dressing room is correct?
Yeah, it was a good point.
Now, I'm not saying it's false, but in that game, it didn't seem like the guys were not playing for the manager or they were not interested.
Yeah.
So you could see them throwing themselves at Liverpool shots, blocking shots, and all of that. They actually kept a clean sheet.
They did keep a
at
clean sheet.
Anfield.
Yeah.
They couldn't keep a clean sheet at home to Bournemouth.
True. Yeah.
So I look at that and I go, are you sure this? He has lost the dressing room stuff. Is that? Or has he lost some players and not the dressing room?
Could be, yeah. And those players seem maybe the players that are finding themselves on the bench.
Well, Marcus has been on the bench for a few games.
Yeah.
Although he's also recovering from injury, but he's been on the bench for a few games.
Yeah.
Well, I think it was a good game. For the neutral, I think for me it was a good game.
Yeah.
I wanted my bad. I wanted a draw anyway, and it was a draw. I would have been okay if Liverpool won. I don't have an issue with that.
Sure.
Because Chelsea are not in the title race.
Sure.
I'm just looking for good games to watch. But I think it was a good game. At some point, the game became so open, though.
Oh, yeah.
It was so open at some point.
Especially with United creating chances. And they created quite a few chances.
Yeah, they did well. They did well. They didn't create a lot, but the few they created, some of them, they should have done a little better.
Yeah.
But at that point, it became so open.
Yeah.
They didn't even make so many substitutions. United, I mean. Liverpool threw on guys, but...
And I feel like as the game went on, Liverpool got more and more frustrated that they didn't get a goal.
They did. You could see it.
And so...
You could see it. And I think the fans were feeling that the whole place was tense. And you could see at intervals, Liverpool players were trying to get the fans to raise the volume up and all, but I guess the fans were trying, but they were not seeing stuff too.
No. Yeah. Again, at Anfield, that's to walk away with a point. Like,
it's a good result for them.
It's a decent result.
It's a good result for them. I have nothing against that. Good result for them.
Okay. But there was one very bizarre moment that we definitely need to talk about.
Oh, no, man. I know what you want to say. That pissed me off.
And that was the Dalot.
The red card.
2 yellow.
In how many seconds, bro?
I don't even know how many seconds.
In less than 10 seconds.
Yeah. And not for a foul that he committed, but I don't even know what you call that.
You could say maybe he cursed at the referee, and maybe he used a swear word.
He was frustrated. He was just frustrated.
Yeah, he was. But my guy, I'm not a United supporter. I'm not a Liverpool supporter. I'm a football guy.
Right.
And I tell you the truth, that was very unnecessary from the referee.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Forget what Dalot said. We didn't have Mike on his shirt.
Sure.
We couldn't hear what he said.
Sure.
Maybe the ref could, the players close to him could. But for you to give him 2 yellow cards in less than 10 seconds.
For just him protesting.
He reacted.
Yeah.
Another funny thing, I think it should actually have been a United throw-in.
Yeah.
So maybe the ref was actually wrong.
Yeah.
In giving the throw-in to Liverpool.
Yeah.
So Dalot I think he has the right to be frustrated.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because the ball hits Salah before it goes out.
Yeah.
So you give the throw-in that should be his to Salah.
Mm-hmm.
He's pissed and he reacts in frustration.
Mm-hmm.
You give him his first yellow card.
Mm-hmm.
He reacts that you gave him a yellow card because he reacted to your wrong decision.
Right.
And you gave him a second yellow card and send him off. And when that happened, you could see my reaction.
Yeah.
I was pissed.
You and I were both like, what?
Like, what is this?
That's definitely a what the football moment.
Right bro, but negative what the football
moment.
moment.
Yeah, -1 for sure.
My brother, we've been talking about the officiating in England too many times this season. The season is not even halfway gone.
Dude, and the amount of red cards, I'll have to fact check this later on, but the amount of red cards that we have is more than what we had all of last season.
It's just annoying.
It's insane.
Like, I look at Dalot and I'm like, what has... First off, you give him the first yellow card.
Yeah.
It's all right.
Yeah.
Water on the back of a duck. That's fine. If he reacts, you have 2 options. You call him and you speak to him.
Mm-hmm.
You have the other option of calling his captain. I go, hey, bro, come. I understand you're frustrated. You want the throw-in, but I have given it to Liverpool. and I've just given you a yellow card. I do not want to send you off.
Yep.
Can you please tell your teammate to be calm?
Mhm.
Or you actually speak to Dalot in the presence of his captain, so that if the reaction happens sometime again, you can't do that. But to give him 2 yellow cards in the space of less than 10 seconds,
Yep.
just because he shows emotion. Now, football is a game of passion. Everybody knows this.
That's what I was gonna.
Everybody knows this.
That's what I was gonna ask you. Like, does it feel like the refs are sucking the passion out of the game? Because earlier in the Arsenal Brighton game, Mikel Arteta got a yellow card again.
Yeah, he was gesticulating.
He's already, and I get, like, if you're asking for a card, that's a whole other thing. But just to, like, gesture for, like, hey, what's going on? Like, I feel like that in some ways is part of the game. And let's be honest here, refs don't have a great track record. Okay, like
this season at least it's not been the best this season.
At least this season, but like just in general, like players have a hard time trusting if the refs have got the right decision or not, you know? And I don't believe like players should start rushing, you know, or like surrounding the ref and pressuring them for a decision. But yet, I feel like you should be allowed to protest a decision. You should be allowed to, like, especially if in that situation for Arteta to like be like, hey, what's going on? That was like Brighton committing a similar foul that they gave a yellow card to Ben White for, I think, you know? And so they're right to like ask, like, hey, where's the consistency?
Well, I think Mitoma still got the yellow card.
He did get the yellow card.
He still got the
but then so did Mikel Arteta. You know, and so I'm just like, are they sucking the passion out of the game?
I don't know. I think I might be wrong, but I think the idea behind all this dishing out yellow cards, like you get a yellow card and you get a yellow card.
It's like Oprah.
I think the whole idea is they want to keep the authority of the officials clear. So if you do this, the official can't give you a yellow card. If this happens, he can't give you a yellow card. And the whole idea of officials being disrespected and all of that, they're trying to make sure that, hey, in the Premier League or in England, no, we respect the officials. They have to do this. So if you do this, you get a yellow card. If you do that, you get a yellow card. But for this, especially the Dalot one, also because I saw it in real time and I'm like, this makes no sense to me.
Yeah.
It makes no sense to me. The guy is frustrated that you got the decision wrong. He punches out to the air.
Yep.
He hits nobody.
Nope.
Now he might have used the cuss word or something. But my guy, this is football. In England, where cuss words are like good morning.
Yeah, that's true, yeah.
Now, I'm not saying that is good or that is bad. That's not the idea of this dialogue. But he does that. You give him a yellow card.
Yeah.
He's unhappy. And he does whatever he does again. You give him a second yellow card.
Yeah.
So in my head, I'm thinking, I think it's Michael Oliver, I think, if I'm not mistaken. I think it's Michael Oliver who's the ref. What is he trying to prove?
Yeah.
That, hey, you can't talk back at me.
Yeah. And I think also something we need to consider is this is towards the end of the game, not in the middle.
90-something minutes.
This is like right towards the end. Like it's just, I don't know.
What is going through his mind is like, hey, you can't talk back. You can't talk to me like that. Take a yellow card. Hey, you can't still talk to me like that. Take another yellow card. I'm like, what?
See, but the thing is, like, refs need to like make better decisions during the game instead of trying to do funny stuff like that to gain respect. That doesn't really gain their respect. If anything, aren't United, you know, in the position to probably go and appeal for this? Because
I think they should appeal that.
Yeah.
If I was the United guy, I don't know if you can appeal 2 yellow cards.
Yeah.
I think you can't because it's a red card anyway in the end. But I think they should appeal it because to me, he's done nothing that warrants him getting 2 yellow cards in 5-7 seconds. It's not worth it.
Yep.
Really not worth it. It's Liverpool, Man United.
Mm-hmm.
Historically, that's one of the fiercest games in the English Premier League.
True.
Even Sir Alex was there to watch the game.
Oh,
it's a big game. Yes, Alex was there. It's a big game.
Yep.
And you know these guys are playing with their hearts on their sleeve.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand. Football has always been a game of passion.
Yeah.
So the fact that somebody shows emotion and lashes out and you send them off. So that means I think footballers should get marks around their mouths. They should say nothing.
Yeah.
They should play with handcuffs.
Yeah.
So they can't make any reactions or gesticulations of any kind.
Yeah.
Because I don't understand what they're turning the game into.
Yeah. That's true.
I really don't understand what they're doing.
It's true.
I really don't.
Yeah.
The officiating this year so far has just been so questionable.
Yeah.
It's too much.
A lot of red cards.
Too much.
A lot of funny decisions.
Too much.
All with having VAR.
Somebody being demoted to championship and all that.
Yeah.
It's just too much.
Yeah.
No, it's too much. It's not worth it. It's not worth it.
I also feel like this also, brings into question, like, is there sort of like a disconnection between the on-field main referee and then the linesman? Because in that Dalot situation, again, we're like really, we need to move on, but he should probably have waited to see what the linesman says.
Oh, because where the action happens, the linesman is on the other end of the pitch.
Oh, he was on the other end?
Yeah, it was there.
Okay.
The linesman on this side is usually on the other half. So it's like one on the on this attacking side, one on this.
Oh, so there
side.
wasn't one on that side then?
No, not close by where. If not, I expect that the linesman should have seen that.
So that was my thing. If there was one, now I don't remember either anymore. But maybe if there was a linesman close by, he should have like gone.
Yeah. It's actually United.
Yeah.
But it is what it is.
I guess that wasn't happening.
I think United should appeal, but that shouldn't be happening in our game.
Yeah,
it should not be happening in our game.
True.
And I think Oliver is supposed to be one of the experienced referees.
Yeah.
He shouldn't be doing that.
Yeah.
He should not be doing that.
Yeah. Okay. Let's move on though. Let's talk about Manchester City versus Crystal Palace.
Ooh. That's a good game.
Yeah. City dropped points neutral, again. Yeah.
For City, I don't think it's a good game.
Yeah.
They were leading 2-0 up until like the 74th, 75th minute, I guess. Grealish first goal, Rico Lewis second goal. Then I think Mateta gets a goal back to make it 2-1.
Yep.
And then in the 92nd minute, Phil Foden trying to clear the ball, clears Mateta. And Palace get a penalty kick. It is a penalty kick.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any two ways about that. And upstairs, my boy, Olise. And he just wrong foots Ederson, gets the ball in the net. And it's just that simple.
Yeah.
2-2. And I think the team with City is, I think at 2-0, they might have thought, hey, we won this. It's over.
Yeah.
70-something minutes, we're leading 2-0, we are home.
Yep.
But the fact that Palace didn't give up, they kept fighting. I think they really needed that.
Yeah, it was a good point for them. Good point.
For Hodgson, because they've not had a good run of games. So to go to the Etihad and get a point, good stuff.
Yeah.
Really good stuff. They could have actually nicked it in the end.
Really?
After I think their last attack was really good, but their pass was behind somebody and all of that. But good stuff, but not so good for City.
No.
I think they've won one in their last 5 in the Premier League, and they've drawn like 3 straight home games. They drew 1-1 with Liverpool, they 3-3 with Spurs, and now they've done 2-2 with Palace. Wow. And if you include the 4-4 with Chelsea, not too long ago, that's like 4 straight draws, because they won at Luton. So they won 2-1 at Luton. And even in that game, they were 1-0 down at halftime. But I don't think anybody will be worried. It's Manchester City.
But hey, this isn't normal for City, though. This run is not very normal. Even last season, they had small patch here and there where they like lost a few games, and that's where Arsenal got ahead.
This is long, this is long in the sense that they would usually not go this long without like. So this is like 1 win in 5 or 1 win in 6 in the league. I mean, I'm not counting their games in the Champions League. I think it's 1 win in 5, if I'm not mistaken.
So Gary Neville calls this the post-treble blues. Is that what they're experiencing?
I think that could be one of the problems, but that's not all of it.
Yeah.
As you, I think you're the one who mentioned it sometime. Losing Gundogan, losing Riyad Mahrez.
Yep.
These are really good players that were part of the core of that team.
Yep.
Yes, they got Doku, who's a good guy. I think Doku is out now.
Mm-hmm.
And they got like Kovacic and Nunes. But those are not, I don't think they play the same kind of game that Gundogan does. If you notice, last season, Gundogan got a lot of important goals towards the end of the season.
He did, yeah.
FA Cup final, this semi-final, that semi-final, this league game, and that time where they were really close to overlap, going over you guys on the table, and all of that. I don't see Kovacic and Nunes as those kind of guys.
No, yeah.
Nunes is a good player. Got in the Wolves shirt, he got great goals, really great goals. Mm-hmm. But I don't think he scored as many as Gundogan does. Gundogan was scoring goals for fun towards the end of last season.
True, yeah.
Then you still have KDB who's out.
And now Haaland. Haaland was in there.
Haaland
right?
has stress in his foot and all of that. So apart from the fact that treble blues, whatever Neville calls it, that could be one of the issues, but I don't think that's all of it.
No,
I think a whole lot has changed as regards personnel.
Mm-hmm.
Then they still have the issue of Calvin Phillips having to leave.
Oh, yeah.
Rico Lewis getting in ahead of him and all of that. So I think it's then Cole Palmer moving to Chelsea. Now, Cole Palmer he wasn't always in the starting 11 or something. But in some games, it was nice to get him off the bench. He's gone to Chelsea now. He's having fun.
Yeah.
Because he has much more playing time and stuff. So I still think
Cole Palmer, I feel like, would have been one of those replacements for Mahrez, just with the style of play, how he plays.
Yeah, but then you go by Doku, so you definitely know that.
But you need one on each wing, right?
So yeah, like but with Doku, you know that instead of rising up the pecking order, he just stays where he's always been. Because Doku will be above him. So, because I think if you want to play Palmer, you want to play him as the center forward or just behind the center forward. So where do you want to play him?
Not on the wing?
You could play him on the wing.
Yes, so that's what I'm saying. Because, like, right now, who do they usually play on the wing?
Foden, Doku, Grealish. So it depends. And also depends on what kind of game he wants to play. Does he want to play one striker? Does he want to play only Haaland? Does he want to play Haaland and Alvarez?
Because, like...
So it depends.
If they had, let's say... No, they've usually had somebody else on the right.
Sometimes Bernardo Silva.
That's who it is, yes. So I'm thinking, like, they have Bernardo Silva.
Bernardo Silva has played everywhere.
Yeah, that's the thing. He's all
wing back.
He's everywhere. He's literally everywhere on the pitch. If they ever put a heat map, it's just like the whole thing is red. Because that's Bernardo Silva. But the guy, I mean, he's everywhere. Like,
he's a good player.
Good player.
Really good player.
But no, I just feel like with Mahrez, you had goals. You had, like, those chances late in the game. Like, you bring him on, like, let's say 20 minutes left, you know, until the game ends, and you bring on Mahrez, and you're like, okay, there may be a goal coming, you know. It was that kind of thing, and you don't have that. I feel like if you had Cole Palmer, I feel like he plays that style of game like Mahrez, you know, with the body feints and the step overs and that sort. And so I feel like that was kind of like, I feel like City may look back and go, that was the one that, you know, we should have kept.
Possibly. I think another thing is you have to consider the fact that they've also considered a lot more goals now.
Yeah.
They've considered a lot of goals. So what is going on? Is it that Ruben Dias is not having as good a season as he usually does? Because I think he's the one who gave the penalty away in the game against Chelsea for Palmer to make it 4-4. So do you say, okay, Ruben Dias is not having good a season? Or is it Akanji? That's Akanji, by the way. I just pronounced it the correct way.
Which is?
Akanji.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's, as I keep saying, I don't think it's an English word.
Is it Nigerian as well? It is, okay.
Akanji is Nigerian. Okay. Well, he has Nigerian descent. I think one of his names is Obafemi.
Yeah.
What's his first name again?
Oh my goodness. We always have this conversation,
I remember his name as Obafemi.
I think, is it Emmanuel?
Manuel Akanji.
Akanji.
I think his name is Manuel.
I don't know why I say Emmanuel, but Manuel.
Manuel Obafemi Akanji.
Okay.
But
Akanji.
In England, it's Akanji. Whatever.
remember,
So you have Akanji, you have Diaz, you have Stones, who is in and out of the team because of injury. Then you have Netanyahu, who plays sometimes. Then you still have Kai Walker. Now it's nearly the same back four, but they've considered so much more goals. Yes. So it's the same Ederson.
Yeah.
So that's another thing you want to go. Then you want to consider the fact that Rodri has had to miss some of the games. And when he was away, they lost. Like they just lost the Premier League games while he was away. So I think there are a few factors that you need to consider, but I still think it's not enough for panic.
This
is City, this is Pep.
Yeah.
They've done this not once, not twice, not 3 times. They've won 4 of the 5 league titles.
True, yeah.
So they know what they're doing. Yeah. I'm not saying they will for sure win this one, but they know what they're doing.
They'll be okay.
Exactly.
Yeah, we don't need to worry about it.
Exactly.
Fair enough.
Fine. Right now, I think the next thing on their mind is they're actually coming this way. They're coming to Saudi for the Club World Cup.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's happening.
So they're coming to the GCC to come enjoy some of the Arabian Gulf and all that Arabian stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. So they're coming here. I think they have 2 games at least. Yeah. Thereabouts in the Club World Cup. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Let's move on though.
Yes, sir.
Next game we want to talk about Brentford versus Aston Villa.
Chaos. Utter chaos. Especially after the second goal.
Yes.
From Watkins.
Yeah.
Chaos. Just chaos.
And when he scored the second goal, he was yelling something and standing inside the goal.
Yeah, it was just I don't think he was yelling a word. He was just making some sound.
Yeah, but like it was towards a certain person who was yelling.
Yeah. So he did say
stuff all
that's
throughout
why
the game
was on. He was getting a lot of stick from a particular guy.
Yeah.
And for some reason he did. He still doesn't know why. Because if you remember, he is a former Brentford player.
Yeah, I mean that's probably why.
Yeah, he's a former Brentford player. But what do you want? He has the opportunity to move to Villa. Why should he not move? He's a player.
It's fair.
I don't understand the whole idea of when a player returns to his former stomping ground, you give him all that stick. Except he left disrespectfully.
Yeah, that's true.
But I don't think he did. I don't think Watkins doesn't look like that kind of player.
Was he even like a Brentford player or was he just there on loan?
He was a Brentford player.
Oh, he was a Brentford player. Oh, okay.
It's kind of like Nimope. Nimope was a Brentford player.
Yeah.
But now he's back there on loan and all of that. Said Ben Rama used to be a Brentford player.
That's true, yeah.
So you have all these guys. So Brentford have, and we don't know if Tony would also move. Ivan Tony, if he gets back and all of that.
True.
So I think whoever the supporter was giving him a lot of stick.
Yeah.
And when he got that goal, he just felt like, I scored. So
I don't think that's the sound he made. But he did make a sound. But
he didn't make the sound.
It was not that Michael Jackson
sound.
But
I didn't think he said anything disrespectful. I think he just stood there and pointed at the guy.
No.
Hey, you.
I just think it's funny that he scored and then he stood in the goal.
Well, that was kind of funny, but I felt like that was the easier way to at least get eye contact with the guy and be like,
yeah, hey. It's true.
But I think the reaction was over the top.
Yeah, and I
think the reaction was over the top.
And I wonder, like, do these teams have history with each other? Is it just because some players play for Aston Villa now, or like what?
It was over the top.
What was going on? Because Thomas Frank, who I consider like a really good manager,
he is a good manager,
and somebody who's very level-headed. I feel like in like some of the craziest situations, you never see Thomas Frank like react in a way that's like what the heck is going on. But this guy was so furious. I'm like, what is going on in this match?
I really don't know why. I think the game ended with both teams having a man sent off.
Yep.
As you said, more red cards and all of that.
Yep.
But for me, I feel like all that just that would take away talk from the fact that Villa have won again.
They have won again.
And this time away from home at Brentford.
And they were a goal behind.
Yeah, they were a goal behind. That's not the easiest place to go to.
True. That's true.
Another win keeps them in the top 4 in that discussion. And they are now, I think, on the same points with Liverpool.
That's right.
And third. So I think that should be the bigger thing to talk about football-wise.
True.
But it was just chaos.
Yeah, it was chaos.
Minutes and minutes of pushing and shoving and all of that.
Yeah.
So it is what it is. Shout out to Villa. Another 3 points.
One thing I did think I heard from the commentators, and I hope I'm saying this right, but I think that's the first time in like 10 years for Ben Mee. I think that's Ben Mee is the Brentford player.
Brentford defender. Yeah,
that's the first time I think in 10 years he got a red card.
Ooh, that's nice.
So that I think, or I may be wrong on the years, but it sounded like it was a really long time.
That's really good.
That he has
gotten to go that long without a red card. That's beautiful.
So
really beautiful.
Anyway, that I think I may be wrong in that fact, but I think that was one of the things. But yeah, what does that say about Villa? Like, here to stay in the top 4 at least?
I think if they're still in the top 4, especially above City, come the new year, I think you definitely have to give them their flowers. Now, we're not saying they're going to win the league.
Okay.
Well, if they do, then they should most likely build a statue of Unai Emery at Villa Park. They should just give him, build a statue of Unai. I'll most likely go visit. So
I did see somewhere that like this is like 2023 has been their probably they've had the most wins in a long time, or like probably the most wins ever. I don't know, but like it's been a great year for them.
Definitely has. You can't deny it. Definitely has.
Yeah.
Definitely. Shout out to Villa. Come January 2024, if they're still where they are, then we got to take them seriously. We really have to take them seriously. But that's good stuff. Yeah.
All right, let's move on. Burnley versus Everton. I think this is the last match we want to talk about from this weekend. But Sean Dyche returns to old stomping grounds, Burnley.
Yes.
And steals all 3 points and goes back to Merseyside.
He does. Sean Dyche way. Yeah. And another funny thing, he does that taking the applause of the crowd.
Hey, that says something, man. Yeah. That's class. Yeah. That's class right there.
He doesn't do that and everybody's like shouting and throwing
hating him and booing him. Yeah. It's like, hey, you came by.
You could, at the start of the game,
it's like seeing an old friend.
While he's walking out the dugout, I think there's some guy with some camera just there waiting for him, and he walks out and ovation.
Wow.
The ovation is just beautiful to see.
Wow.
It's beautiful to see somebody return to his old stomping ground and get so much love. Yeah, Craig was correct. Yeah. Craig was correct when we had that chat with him when he said that and saying definitely he's Sean Dyche and he has the bar named after him, and Burnley see him and see what he's doing at Everton and they go, that should be us.
What was it called? The Royal Dyche?
Yeah, the Royal Dyche.
He was probably at the Royal Dyche right after the game. Just
possibly.
Having some drinks.
And he most likely have those drinks without paying.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
You know?
It's old Dyche.
I tell you, man, I think it's great stuff. It just shows, as I keep saying, we are still one big football family.
Yeah. Anyway. I think that's, like when it comes to small towns and like these sort of things, I think that's just the beauty of it, at the end of the day.
You don't forget your own.
And also, I think that says something about Burnley as a club and as a culture.
Yeah.
Creating a culture of gratitude, towards a manager that served them for a while.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, shout out to Craig and all the Burnley fans for
they still
showing class.
You can see clearly that they still love him.
Yeah.
They have no animosity with him.
Yeah.
It's good stuff. He went there, did his thing, which is put the ball in the air most of the time. So the first goal was corner. Onana is like 6 foot something, I guess.
Yeah.
Gets the header. The second goal, it's a long ball from, I think it's a free kick. Sent in. Tarkowski wins the header. Pulls it down to Michael Keane, who sweeps the ball like a striker. hits the ball so sweetly. Saved by, what's his name, Trafford, but Keane again on the follow-up to get it in. And it was just good because you could see, so Dwight McNeil in the Everton team is a former Burnley player.
Yeah.
James Tarkowski is a former Burnley player. And they were not booed. At least I didn't hear them get booed because I saw that game.
No.
And they were not booed. So I'm like, That is respect. And that is good respect. So as I said, Dyche, ovation. Tarkowski and McNeil came back to their old stomping ground. They were good.
Yeah.
And so I'm looking forward to the day where that would happen at every stadium.
That's true. That's a good point. Yeah. But talking about Everton though, they're out of the danger zone for now. I think they're like
by danger zone. Do you mean the bottom?
The bottom three, yeah.
Even at the start of this match week, they were already out of the bottom 3 places.
Yeah, but I think they've moved up.
Yeah, but with this win over Burnley,
they've got more cushion.
Yes, they have. And we keep saying, if those 10 points were not taken off, they'll be in the top half.
Sure,
they'll be above Chelsea. I think they'll be like 4. They'll be like 4 points above Chelsea. Nah, they won't. Come on.
I don't know, man.
They would not be number 1.
Sean Dyche.
It's just easy, just plus 10. What they already have.
I don't know what.
I think what they have now is 26 points. What they have now, I think is 16 points. I could be wrong.
Okay.
So if you add the 10 that was taken off, that would be 26 points. But the funny thing though is, I think you were trying to say something like this last episode. I might be wrong. Is, do you think they would have been this committed to playing as much as they are,
no,
or as well as they are, if they didn't have those 10 points?
I don't think so.
So you think those 10 points being taken off has actually motivated them to do what they do?
Absolutely,
because they've won 4 of their last 5.
Because that was fire under their bums. Like they would have been like,
they've won 4 of their last 5.
Yeah, that's great.
They've
Good
won
for them.
They've won Newcastle. They've won Chelsea. They've won Burnley. I'm trying to remember the other team that they defeated also. Is it Nottingham Forest? I can't remember. But Newcastle, Chelsea, and now Burnley. Yeah, it's all right. But
Chelsea also. I have to. You know that I have to.
That's a good one. That's a very good one.
Anyway, keep going. Sorry. Keep going.
Yeah, but I think you have to count them as one of the informed teams in the league now.
Oh, absolutely. There's no doubt. There's no.
4 or 5.
But I still do feel like there was a sense of urgency. Literally, the first match they played after that 10-point deduction was against United at home, and they lost.
Yeah, they lost,
right?
2-0, yeah.
But there was a different vibe at the club, both in terms of the stands. You know, the fans, they were holding up those papers, and that was a whole other thing. But then just the players' response to that situation was to work hard and work even probably harder than they were already working. You know, and so I felt a shift personally that like, hey, they're playing like, you know, like a top team right now. They're trying to create chances. Yeah. They didn't score any goals, I believe, or maybe they did. I can't remember.
Which game was that?
That was the United game.
That is, it was 3-0.
So, but they could have scored. They had a lot of chances. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I felt like looking at that game, I was like, they're gonna get out of this situation.
I'm really impressed with Everton. I'm very impressed with Everton, with Sean Dyche. I think he's doing a great job there. To have 10 points deducted, and they are not like a Manchester City who have like the money to buy whoever they want to buy and all of that. And you have the opportunity to have a player like Julian Alvarez, who won the treble and the World Cup. And some matches he starts from the bench. You have £100 million player in Grealish who starts from the bench sometimes because Doku starts.
Yeah.
You look at all of that and you go, wow, that's a team. Everton don't have that.
Yeah, they don't.
Everton don't have £100 million player sitting on the bench.
But sometimes, you know, in the words of Ted Lasso, all you need to do is believe. So I think they were believing, and they've made it out, so they're safe for now.
I don't know if Sean Dyche is a Ted Lasso fan.
Hey, it could be their own. He's Sean Dyche. That could be their own show, you know, the British version.
The Sean Dyche.
Just like they did.
Dyche show.
Just like they did with The Office. There was a British office, and then they made an American office. They could take Ted Lasso and they could turn it into Sean Dyche. You know?
Well, we're great though, because I think Sean Dyche has a beautiful voice.
That is true. That is true.
Yeah. But I am impressed with him, with Everton.
Yeah, very good.
They've shown that they're fighters.
Yep.
They're just fighters. They've done their protest on the pitch.
Yeah, true.
So instead of doing the whole we're not going to play or whatever.
Hey, and that's a response. That's one way to respond.
Yeah, that's one way to
For
respond.
teams like I will put my own club in there as well. Own meaning not the club I own, but the club I love. But like Arsenal,
I wish you owned the club.
I wish so too, man.
Yeah.
Seriously, but anyway, but talking about just clubs putting out statements and all that kind of stuff. Like we take notes from Everton, and just work hard.
I think they did put out a statement.
Sure, yeah.
We are going to appeal this, but I think it was a respectful statement.
Sure, yeah.
But they have done most of their protesting on the pitch.
Yeah.
Which is, you take 10 points from us, we would go and take these 10 points off other teams. Yeah, and they've been doing really well.
Yeah.
I think right now they're so confident.
Yeah.
It's good. They're in a good place.
It's good. They need that. And shout out to them. They're out of the danger zone. And if they keep it up, they'll be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
it's like
we never know. If the 10 points were not taken off, would they still have as many points as they have now? We don't know, but
you never know.
It is what it is. They're doing well for themselves. They can sit pretty where they are.
Let's talk about their opposing team though, Burnley. Are they missing Sean Dyche?
I don't think that's a good good is not the word. I don't think that's a nice question to ask, because they can see him do what he's doing at Everton, and they want to go, that used to be our boy. Are they missing Sean Dyche? I don't think that's the question. I think they should move on from the Sean Dyche era. They should love him, which they have done. They respect him. He came back to Toughmore. He got the ovation. I think all that is good stuff. But are you missing Sean Dyche? He was fired because the results were not good when he was fired.
Well, sure. So was Chris Wilder. Now he's back.
That's the thing. So the other thing is, I don't think he will leave Everton to come back to Burnley.
Fair.
The only time I think he can come back to Burnley is if he ends up jobless at a point in time and he needs a job and the Burnley job gets available.
Fair.
Because if Chris Wilder was coaching, say, even Luton Town, Sheffield wouldn't have gotten him. They'd have had to look for someone else.
True, yeah.
Except they would have loved to pay him out of his contract, like what Chelsea did with Graham Potter. So I don't think doing the whole we miss. It's like Manchester United are now asking, do we miss Alex Ferguson? He's an old man. Allow him. Let him enjoy himself.
Sorry, we need to pause here.
Yeah.
You just compared Sean Dyche to Sir Alex Ferguson.
The same way you can assume that I just compared Burnley with Manchester United.
Yeah, but
I did not do
different situations.
It's
different situations.
It's like asking Chelsea, do they miss Abramovich?
Okay, again,
it's like dwelling in the past.
It's different situations.
But you're dwelling in the past.
It's different. Okay, whatever.
Dwelling in the past.
I'm not gonna argue this. This is ridiculous. Okay.
Move.
The dwelling. I agree with the dwelling in the past.
So those situations were all situations where you were going, oh, in the past we used to have this guy and he used to be this way. So do we miss that? Obviously you do miss it. So
okay, sorry. Let me rephrase the question then.
Yeah.
Are they missing? I guess maybe a better question then is, what is Burnley missing? Because they have only maybe 2 wins.
Yeah, I guess 2 wins are like a draw or something.
That's really bad for a team that just got promoted in the Premier League. Like Luton's done much better than them.
The thing is, the Premier League is not an easy place to come.
Sure, it's not easy, but like, I don't know, man.
What do they need? I think number one, they need to be a little more realistic. Company seems like a coach who wants to pass the ball and move the ball. He played under Pep for a few seasons. He's trying to do his own thing. I think one of the things they have to do is be more realistic in the sense that they have to think like a Big Sam, which is concede less goals. They're conceding so many goals. That's one of the things I think they're doing. And they are, at some point, they play football like they're naive. If you're under pressure, why not just clear the ball?
Yeah, true. Yeah.
Some of the goals they've considered this season is they lost the ball in dangerous areas and the teams got it and went and score.
Yeah.
So I think some of those things they just have to start telling themselves, do we have the level of quality and technicality in the players we have to pass out of the back every time?
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah,
against every opponent.
True. Yeah.
So I think those are some of the things that they have to start doing. I'm not a better manager than company at all.
Mm-hmm.
So this is not me sounding like, oh, I know all the solutions. I don't. I'm just saying some of the basics. You might just have to start clearing out the ball instead of trying to pass from the back. You're not City.
Yeah.
But I understand the fact that he played under Pep for a while. So he's seen all that stuff and intricate football and this happens to this and sweeper keeper and all of that. But you are doing this on what budget?
Yeah, that's true. But also, even like take the budget conversation out of it. I feel like, in a way, what you're saying is absolutely correct. They just probably need to take a look in the mirror and just go back to basics.
Tell you.
And be like, okay, let's get the basics right first. Do that, and then
you don't need to win.
Go from there.
4-3. If you win 1-0, it's still 3 points.
Yeah, that's true.
If you win 4-3, it's still 3 points.
Yeah.
I know the funny thing. They are both +1 goal difference. But in the other one, you've considered 3.
Mm-hmm.
Now, while you've scored 4, which is fine, the other teams look at these guys. If these guys can score 3 against them, we can score 5.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So everybody goes to Toughmore knowing, we can get goals.
Yeah.
But if you can make Toughmore, at least if you can't do it home and away, do it at home where you go. We are going to make it hard for people to come to Toughmore and get 2 goals.
Mm.
If you work really hard, you get 1.
Mm.
If you don't, we make sure we keep this place shut. And you could do anything. You tell the defenders, for every game you keep a clean sheet, pizza is on me. Something like that.
Hey, the pizza incentive always works.
Yeah, that's pizza's on me. These are players who are on diets. Any opportunity they get to have pizza, which the manager buys, they're gonna eat it, bro.
I don't think that will be. I get what you're trying to say.
Yeah, but you get my point is not. It mustn't egg. It mustn't.
More carbs is probably not the answer for them.
Yeah. So I think especially at home, they considered 5 against Spurs at home. They considered, I think, 4 against Chelsea at home. They always consider a lot of goals at home.
Yeah.
So it's. I think it's unfair for your fans to come as the home supporters and see their team concede 5.
Yeah.
No, come on.
Yeah.
Do what you can.
Do the basics right.
You know the funny thing? If they have even played like 5 games 0-0, that's 5 points. Now, you would rather win than draw because 3 points is better than 1 point. But I think you would rather draw than lose.
Yeah, that's true. Get a point.
Yeah.
Yep.
So if they don't score, you don't lose.
Let's see what they come up with in the January transfer window, and if there's any outgoings and incomings.
If they continue this way, they'll just go back to the championship.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. And I guess that is the fate of some of the teams that get promoted every year. So
some of them, yeah. Some of them do well and stay back, some don't.
Yep.
It is what it is.
It's the what's the phrase I'm looking for? I don't know. Anyway. It's late. Anyway, I guess that's it for the Premier League from this weekend.
Yeah.
Just to preview, I think the big game coming up is gonna be Liverpool versus Arsenal.
Oh yeah, that is
which should be a really good game.
Should be. I hope
two teams that have been somewhat in good form this season.
I hope it is.
Arsenal are top right now for a while. Again, shout out to those Liverpool fans who said to me that they were gonna be here a while. So that only lasted maybe less than 7 days.
It's alright. There's still time.
But anyway,
if they win, you guys,
they'll probably be up.
Go back up, so.
But here's a scary thing, though. Okay. Yeah. Well, first of all, I want to say from Arsenal's point of view, they need to be really clinical in that match because they've not been good enough in the last few games, at least from my perspective, with the amount of chances they've had.
Yeah, true. So like in the Brighton game, they won 2-0.
They won 2-0, but they had so many more chances. In the Villa game that they lost 1-0, they had so many chances. Some that should have been in the back of the net, but they weren't. Partly because of the keeper, partly because shots were off target or just missed, So they need to be really clinical in this match. If they were, because I know they're going to create chances. They will create chances. Arsenal have been in a good, kind of run in terms of playing good football, playing in the opposition's half, trying to get enough chances. We have the players for that. So they will give Liverpool a go. They should at least. But if they don't score those goals, that they don't score the chances that they get, that's gonna hurt them. It's as simple as that. I feel like.
I think you've said it all.
And I feel like seeing the United Liverpool match, they should be encouraged that if United, who are like sixth or whatever, if they can go and get a point, then we should definitely give them a go. You know what I mean?
Even if United had lost, I still feel like Arteta will play his game.
Oh yeah.
Gone are the days where he knew that every time playing against Liverpool they were going to lose.
Yeah. I think like we're on sort of like a similar.
Yeah, I think right now you guys can go toe to toe with anybody in the league, so that's fine. I'm not saying anything about that.
But here's a scary thing, though. Okay. Well, I guess not a scary thing, but it's a sort of a funny thing to think about. Especially as the mid-season point is coming up. If Arsenal and Liverpool tie and Aston Villa win their match, Aston Villa will be on top.
Merry Christmas.
Going into Christmas and New Year.
Merry Christmas.
How crazy is that?
Merry Christmas, Unai Emery. It will not just be a good evening.
How crazy is that?
Merry Christmas, Unai Emery.
I just realized that as we were like preparing for this, I was like, man, if we tie and Villa wins, going into Christmas and the New Year, they're on top.
Some Villa fans should just sing a song with Unai's name.
That's probably when they should just make the statue at that point.
I tell you, man. If that happens and Villa go top, bro, if I see a Villa shirt, I'm going to buy it.
Hey, speaking of shirts, what are you wearing?
This is Welsh.
The Welsh national team?
Yeah, it's one of the retro shirts. It's like from the 80s or 90s. I don't know. One of them.
This is cool. For some reason, I thought it was Wrexham.
Nah.
And so I was like, I saw the badge of import because I think Wrexham has a dragon or something as well. Because again, Welsh club. But anyway, sorry, I had to ask that because you mentioned shirt. Anyway, but that's crazy.
Yeah, I tell you, to just be, as I keep saying, Merry Christmas.
Yeah,
Merry Christmas.
I guess that's the big game to look forward to. So
yeah, it is.
We will react to that.
Yeah, we have to. We have to react to that
when that happens. Anyway, that's it for the Premier League and the Premier League preview.
Yes.
Last thing I think we want to talk about is not a good thing. It's a very sad thing that happened in the Turkish Super League, I believe.
Oh, okay.
The incident of the president of one of the clubs entering the field. I think it was right when the final whistle was blown or something.
I think so. The game had just ended 1-1.
And this dude enters the pitch, and a bunch of people, I guess, were beating up the referee, and he threw punches at the ref as well. I mean, look, refs need to be held accountable for stuff, but not like that.
No, that shouldn't happen.
That was just like the images that I saw were just horrifying.
I think he came on, punched the ref. The ref fell, and I think 2 other guys or somebody kicked out the ref or something like that, I guess. But it's, as you say, that shouldn't happen to anybody or a festival.
No, not anybody, yeah.
Talk less of the official of a match.
True, yeah.
He's a FIFA official anyway. So that should not happen. Secondly, this is done by the president of a club.
Yeah. And he has been banned. I think it's a lifetime ban.
He's actually resigned. So he did that and then resigned.
Double whammy for him, I guess.
He did that and then resigned. Stuff like, I don't want anything that I have done to affect the club and its affairs. So
it already happened.
I'm just going to resign.
Yeah.
The funny thing is, even after that happened, all the league games in Turkey were suspended. Yeah, but we do want to say that should not happen.
No,
that should not happen. Officials should not be treated that way.
Yeah.
They should not have to officiate a game going, oh, I'm scared for my safety and all of that. So I think that should not happen.
Yeah.
They're human. They make mistakes. Sometimes they make decisions that want to make us pull our hairs out and stuff. But
not me, but
it's all right. It's all right. But I don't think they should be treated that way. I don't think so.
Do we know the backstory, like to that whole thing? Like, was there a decision he gave that they disagreed with?
I think in most of the reports that I saw, it was like he did make some calls that were like funny, stuff like that. So the president guy was actually pissed at some of the decisions he made, but yeah, we can't still support that.
No, absolutely not. No,
We
that's
would not support that.
violence is
We would not support that.
never the answer.
Yeah, because even the picture of the ref was on the.
Oh my goodness, it was horrifying, man.
The swollen eye and all of that. So
it's horrifying.
Yeah,
and we've had a few incidences this season, like in different leagues. So there's this league. There was the one in the French league, all with one of the managers. The manager who got injured from like people throwing stuff in the bus or whatever that was. You remember that?
Oh yeah, that was I think that was Leon Massé.
I think that was the one.
That was Fabio Grosso.
Fabio, yeah.
That was from the fans. I think the fans also,
Just so like
he got a cut.
Like this, there's passion and then there's this. This is not passion. This is something else. And so
this is wrong.
Folks, keep it clean and keep it civil, I guess, and kind, and not, on the brink of injuring and killing somebody.
Please don't
That's just
please don't do that.
Awful. But anyway, that was a big news, and
it was
not a good one to hear in the world of football.
Not just for the Turkish league, but for football.
Football, not a good one to hear. But hoping that ref is okay and recovering and doing all right, and anyway, I guess that's a sad note to end on, but
but it's important.
It is important to talk about it and just shed light on it, and hoping that those instances happen less and less and less, and people can, express their passion and their emotion
in other ways,
in proper ways,
that are still respectful.
And also just, like we talk a lot about the refs, but at the end of the day, referees are also human beings.
Yes.
Even though we get really frustrated with their calls.
Yes.
They are human beings at the end of the day. So I think it's just, a reminder to just, as hard as it may be, they just have grace for them when they make those funny decisions that sometimes like make you want to pull your hair out, So, anyway, so I guess all we have to say about that one.
Mm-hmm.
This is pretty much our last episode of this year.
Oh, our last full-on episode.
Our last full-on episode. Yeah. We will have some reactions coming your way to some of the matches that happen in the festive weekend.
You'll be seeing us and maybe a few other faces.
Yes.
If we can get that to work out.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah.
We'll see how that goes. But anyway, this is our last episode of the season. Not the season, sorry, the year.
The calendar.
The calendar year. Yeah. We will still be continuing on with the season.
Mm-hmm.
But just want to wish everybody that's celebrating a Merry Christmas and best wishes into the new year.
What he said,
We will see you in the new year. You want to say anything?
No, what he said. Merry Christmas, guys. Thank you for the love and support. 2024.
I want to say, as we kind of conclude, I want to ask you, what's something you're grateful for?
Ooh, I'm grateful for a lot of things, my brother. I'm grateful for a lot of things. I try to just keep my attitude of gratitude.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I'm grateful for a lot of things, a whole lot of things. For life, for grace, for football, for family, definitely. Just grateful for a lot of things.
Are you tearing up?
Not yet.
Okay.
Not yet.
And your voice was just like getting really heavy. I was like, dang, man. I didn't know asking you that question was going to be so emotional.
Don't do that. Come on, don't do that.
But let me say this. So one of the things I am grateful for is you.
Thank you, sir.
And
thank you.
Your love for football. And the fact that we get to do this.
It's a great privilege.
And the fact that we've made it, I think this is the 18th episode.
Oh, look at that.
I feel like it was just yesterday we were doing the very first episode, and we were on the messages like being like, okay, it's out now, it's coming out now. Here's the first reel, like, and we put everything out, and we're like 18 episodes, and so that's wild, man. So
Praise God.
yeah,
Praise God.
indeed. So yeah, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, God bless everybody, and we will see you guys in the new year.
Yes, we will. See ya. Cheers.